So for the structured question, right, we are given particles A to E and their number of protons, neutrons, electrons respectively. So the most important thing to take note here is the number of protons, because number of protons immediately tells me the atomic number, and we can use that to immediately identify all of the elements already. So if we go and check all of the atomic numbers 8, 10, 12, and 15, right? You should get particle A to be oxygen, B is neon, C and D are magnesium, and E is phosphorus. Okay? So after we identify the element already, now we need to determine are these particles atoms or ions. So in order to check, right, we need to look at the number of protons and electrons. If the number of protons and electrons are the same, that tells me that the particle is electrically neutral, meaning it must be an atom. Okay, so if proton and neutron are same, the particle is an atom. Whereas if the number of protons and electrons don't match, right, that means that the particle is an ion. Okay? So we go and check the table again. Whether it's a positive or negatively charged ion will depend on whether there are more or less electrons than protons. Okay, so if you look back at the table, A and B, proton and electron are the same, so they are atoms. For C and D, both of them got two less electrons compared to protons, meaning that the element, right, it lost two electrons and it formed an ion with a charge of 2 plus. Then for the last one, phosphorus, three more electrons than protons, meaning this phosphorus atom gained three electrons to form P3 minus. Okay, so we look at part one first. Which particle is an atom of a noble gas? We use the letters to answer the question. Okay, so for noble gas, we know that this can only be in group 18. So the only one in group 18 is B, which is neon. Then we identify which pair of particles are isotopes of each other. So let's just very quickly recall meaning of isotope. It's atoms of the same element with the same number of protons, but different number of neutrons. So we can already tell the two elements, the element should be magnesium because there's two of the same element and they have the same number of protons but different number of neutrons. So these two are isotopes, meaning that part 2 answer should be C and D. Okay, then for part 3, name two particles that form compounds containing ions with a charge of 2 plus and 2 minus. So the 2 plus, very easy, already settled for us, which is either C or D. Okay, so that leaves us to find the element that can form an ion with a charge of 2 minus. So it's between oxygen, neon, and phosphorus. So neon is my noble gas, it does not form any ions. Okay, it cannot form any ions because it already has fully filled valence shell. So it does not need to form ions. So meaning neon is out already. So we look at phosphorus. Phosphorus we already see from just now, right? We determined that the phosphorus is a 3 minus ion. So phosphorus also out. So that leaves us with oxygen. So oxygen, why oxygen can form 2 minus, right? Is because the electronic configuration of oxygen is 2.6. It's group 16. So in order to form my fully filled valence shell, right? This oxygen is going to want to gain 2 electrons. And from the fully filled valence shell, 2.8. So when it gains 2 electrons, it will form the ion with the charge O2 minus. So 2 plus and 2 minus, right? That means my answer for part 3 should be either A and C or A and D.